We're going to talk about the 1 second approach to no thought. How to calm your brain when you're overactive as far as thinking. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like if even for just a second you could stop the incessant conversation in your brain? Well, that's what we're going to talk about this morning. And we are going to talk about a way to train your brain to do that. So we're going to be talking about rewiring your brain in order to be able to function without that incessant, constant flow of conversation that goes on in your brain. So I really want you to, I'm Dr. Natalie Gonzalez. I practice Synergy at Synergy Health and Wellness. I do integrative and functional medicine. Integrative means I use conventional and non-conventional means to optimize somebody's health. And functional means I look for the root cause so that we're not putting a Band-Aid on their symptoms. When it comes to regulating our brain, the incessant conversation that goes on throughout the day in our brain, one of the things that we can do is meditate, and most of us actually cannot. And we think that in order to be good meditators and to really get the hang of it, we have to have 10,000 hours of meditation in order to really get really proficient at that. But we don't. We only need 1 second, and we need 1 second at a time. And each one of those seconds, every time you do it, regulates your brain or retrains those neurons in the brain to be able to stop that constant flow of thought, that constant flow of conversation in your brain that can actually be very overwhelming sometimes. It can cause a lot of anxiety and a lot of just fear, and it just like now, it can keep you from thinking clearly. And so what you want to do is be able to train your brain to just settle in and stop that conversation so that you can just be. It does a lot of things for your health overall, and we'll go into that in a few seconds. But right now, I just want you to understand the idea of sitting down for 5 minutes in which you set a timer, maybe on your phone, or if you are, excuse me, if you are watching the clock, you can do that. Doesn't really matter. You're only going to do this 1 second at a time. And each time you do it, each time you sit down for those 5 minutes, you will be able to master this maybe a couple times more than you did the day before. Or if you did it in the morning, maybe you're going to master a couple more times that afternoon when you try it again. Either way, you're going to allow yourself 5 minutes without having to worry about what the clock is or what you have to do next. You can do it with your eyes closed. In fact, sometimes that's a good way to start, because when you close your eyes, there's nothing. And if you start to think, then open your eyes. And that first moment, when you first open your eyes, there's no thought until you notice what's around you. But in that first moment, that is also training your brain to have no thoughts for 1 moment. And sometimes you can start stringing these moments together in your 5-minute time interval, and you might have 2 in a row, maybe 2 seconds that you had no thoughts. And maybe eventually you'll get to where you can have 3 seconds in a row where there's absolutely no thinking going on. It takes some practice, and each time you do it, it trains your brain and it solidifies those brain circuits a little bit stronger. It's like doing a bicep curl. Every time you do it, it makes that muscle a little bit stronger. And that's true when you're using this portion of your brain to just be without thought going through your brain. Eventually, you may be able to notice that in the 5 minutes, you're stringing a lot of these moments together, a lot more than you used to. You may find that at first you could only do it with your eyes closed, but eventually you could do it with your eyes open. You may also find that you thought you could only do it during the 5-minute interview that you allowed for it, but maybe you had something going on in the middle of your day and you were overwhelmed. You knew you were overwhelmed with thinking or with feeling, whatever was going on, and you took a moment to have no thought because you knew you could do it. That's how this works. Eventually, it becomes something that can occur throughout your day. At first, it's going to be at planned times, and then it will be at unplanned times. And then it will be at those times that maybe it wasn't unplanned, but you really did need that moment, and you were able to do it because you had been practicing it. This approach eventually starts to reap, or what you eventually start to reap some real benefits from doing this. And the first one that you'll notice is that it tends to down-regulate your sympathetic nervous system. So it tends to have a very calming effect on you. And the more you feel that moment of calmness, the more you will want to feel that moment of calmness later on in your day. And you will know very well what that moment feels like and be able to shut your eyes and feel that calmness, open your eyes and go on with your day. So it really is a great regulator of the sympathetic nervous system. The fight, flight, or flee system is what that is. The one where you're in a defense really of yourself, and to really be able to have a tool to calm that down when you need it. This is a really good practice. The other thing you'll notice is that the more you string these episodes of no thought together, the more you will be allowing yourself a greater access to greater creativity and intuition, because your thoughts, your ego is not in the way. And so for somebody who requires great creativity in their work, and even if they don't require it, maybe it would just be an asset to your day or your work. It can be something very powerful to allow other things to come into your awareness rather than just your ego and the thoughts that go with your ego, trying to be better, trying to be better than either the way you were before or somebody else around you. So without the competition. Anyway, so allowing greater creativity and greater intuition throughout your day. It also helps you tend to improve emotional balance. So if you're somebody who's usually very reactive, this will allow you to be more responsive to what's going on rather than just reactive. We react with our emotions, we react with our ego, but we are responsive when we don't have our emotions and our ego in the way. And it'll just make you feel just a little bit more clear and have a little more balanced perspective on whatever is going on in your day, so that you know that this event that you're dealing with, or this new challenge that has come up, you're better able to keep it in perspective rather than feel so overwhelmed by it. So really today, you don't really have to master anything. In this video, really what I want you to learn is that you're going to schedule this into your day to begin with. It's going to be a 5-minute time interval in which you can allow yourself to stop thinking for a second at a time. And within that 5-minute time interval, you might find that you were able to do that maybe 10 times or maybe 5 times. Doesn't really matter. You did it 5 times, your brain was able to do it, and you were able to start training the brain in that direction. And what you will find as you do it is that you will feel a sudden relaxation of your body when it has no thought. And that will be a really nice sensation. Your brain and your body and your consciousness will come to appreciate that feeling of calmness that washes over you when you're able to just let go of thinking for 1 second. That's all you need to do. That's all you will start with today. When you start to do this, maybe in the morning and the evening, or in the morning, middle of the day and the evening, and you start to get better at it with your eyes closed to begin with, then with your eyes open, then you will notice that this practice comes in handy during other times of the day, particularly in times when you feel overwhelmed or you feel like you can't calm yourself down. Those are the times you might take a moment or two to bring this up again and let go of thoughts and feel that calmness wash over you. That's all you need to do. You will get better and better at it as the months go by. And you will not have to worry about whether you were a meditator or not, because you won't need that. This will become the norm for you rather than the exception. And you will find that you are in a state of being a far more functional person on a day-to-day basis, just with this one simple practice that you've trained your brain to do. Okay, go out there, everybody. If this has been helpful to you, share it with a family member or friend. If you don't know someone to share it with, like it so YouTube can share it with other people that will benefit by it. And if you haven't already, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Let me see if I can figure out how to